Good afternoon from New York. Welcome to the channel, Inner Mind Communication, IMC. I'd like to give thanks to all the wonderful gifts of people on YouTube, Linux supporters and creators, and Big Linux, without whom I would not be able to do this. Wonderful distro. And to the education from Switch to Linux and DistroTube. Great channels. And all the people who make it possible for me to be here today, to exist with the quality of life that I have, thanks to people who grow our food and who give us, through growing on the chain, coffee and cocoa to Nestle. Favorite sweetened cocoa. And so moving right along into all the mystics who came before me. Namaste. Those still everywhere around the world. Today's subject: who do you trust? True mystics, evolved mystics, and scientists, possibly the humblest of mystics. Okay, who do you trust? That's an easy one. People who use empathy, who attempt to understand, see things from more than one perspective, and be compassionate. These three forms of empathy: objective, from which we get truth; creative, from which we get art; and compassionate, from which we get goodness. And all of these things help build up the trust that we have, without which we could not trade. This pattern is something that you'll see that indicates a better understanding of society and the individual in terms of virtue and spiritual growth. By that I mean love. Love is the one thing that is the core real spirituality, the love flow, which everybody is a trading partner in that circle. Everybody is important, from the most fallen to the most elevated, through no fault of their own or blessing. They're just, that's their journey, and they are worthy of respect and love. Everybody's valuable. Even if all you have are needs, you are valuable to the flow of love. Without the flow of love, love quickly becomes meaningless. So that's who you can trust. People who have these capacities. IMC is one way that can be tested, observed, by an outside party, and how you can observe for yourself. You see for yourself how you're doing. I just dropped in to see what condition my condition was. Yes. So IMC is dropping in so that you can experience firsthand where you are, pre-verbal and verbal, in mind and child. And who you are as a trading partner in the flow of love. How well your government, your churches, and your media are functioning. How well that links up with business, which is all about trade and trust. This pattern is something you can trust. Here in the United States, we understand the division of powers. That's a big step in the right direction. And not any of these colluding together to exclude any of the others. You really got to look for the full meal deal when it comes to empathy. Otherwise, you're a little shy of what you need, and that can cause problems. Collusions of any kind. One hand washes the other and leaves other people his hands dirty. And then cast blame on them, That's corruption. You can't trust a system that doesn't understand the division of powers or the independence of these institutions. You cannot trust them. Look around the world. Yeah. If it doesn't involve a balance of voice and powers of these institutions and all connected to how they do trade, don't trust them. If you're in one, try to get out or work for the noble purpose of restoring that balance or creating that balance. And, the United States stands firm to help you. Okay. So does Europe, most of it. So you have help. You're out there and you need help. These nations are ready to help. They understand democracy, the necessity of division of powers, doing your main purpose, having these powers do their main purpose. Independence, cooperating. And that's how we should function as people. So if you run into a person who doesn't grasp this, or at all, or who don't value empathy or have a concern for it, can't trust them. These are people that are not particularly objective, not particularly creative, and not particularly compassionate. Usually what blocks these things is damaged faith and love, which no one's at fault for having, but there may be a little bit at fault they don't do something about it. If they can't, then it's on us to help them keep the flow going. So this is this anger and fear, which is derivative from this damaged faith and love, these blocks against love. This anger and fear and this need to punish and blame before you ever help. This is what corrupts the world, and we don't fight for democracy, division of powers. That's where we're going to go, toward the extinguishing of ourselves as a species here on this planet. And yeah, and putting, at risk increasingly our children, their children, so on and so on. So, and that revolves around tolerance as well. Somebody walks like a tyrant, as a dictator, talks like a dictator, demands respect, not giving, not helping the flow of love. Don't trust them. Don't trust such people. Now, let's move on to mystics. What is a true mystic? Well, a mystic is someone humble enough to know that there's a greater picture out there than what they envision. And they don't just stand in awe of it. Try to understand it. They see a mystery as a puzzle to be solved, but to be observed and understood. And not as something that just leaves them with their mouth agape. See? That's true mystic. And leaders, they are leaders. They're natural born leaders, almost. Well, I shouldn't go that far. Empathy is developed later in the human being, which is us. It's developed later. After there's a self-concept and so on, the language that evolves later. But, so, those mystics have evolved. Mystic has evolved from lesser places, isolated views, and the growth goes on. True mystic is on a journey and will admit to it, and they will not claim to know things that no one can prove. So that gets to scientists. Scientists are mystics, true mystics, because they put mystery where it belongs, the puzzle to be solved, and as a way of appreciating their place in the universe in a humble way, in an appreciative way, that the true mystic and the scientists, they understand, if they've studied properly, they will understand that there's something bigger than our sense of who we are, that our sense of who we are evolves, and that who we are is a bit of an illusion. A true mystic understands that it's not you're the subject and you're looking at objects, and the mystic understands that that's a bit of an illusion. All of it's knit together. All of that cause and effect relationship, it's knit together. There's not this barrier where it's just, this is other and this is me. In fact, the other frames who you are, and you remove the framing, there's no you. So looking at that from that perspective, that's also an element. And but you can grow as a mystic by growing in objectivity, creativity, and compassion. So that goes on forever. And there's also a lot of healing along the way. Some people believe there are past lives and that we're still healing some of that. Well, I don't know. It's curiosity. We're in a virtual universe, maybe. But how much of it is you? Why would you not? There are a lot of questions with that. But yeah. And how do we heal again? RMC perspective. We heal by, well, in the Christian religion, taking up your cross. Your cross, not his. Said that. In fact, if you don't do that, it's not worthy of him. That means you embrace the damage that you've had, and you expand your abilities for comfort and a sense of safety and mix things up so that the symbolic defenses, the love of money, the love of stuff, the love of things that aren't real needs, that were there to comfort you in your damaged faith, that you need to unlearn these things in order to grow. You need to unlearn the helplessness that once may have saved you. Helplessness, feel, know, and experience what your needs were at that time. To realize that those needs, those feelings, and so on are in the past, so that you can grieve them and let them go, so that you can forgive, so that you can move toward true repentance and tears of remorse, so that you can move on to realize you're a different person. Kind of like the Doctor Who, you know. And the change not too soon. Heard that from the UU minister just recently, either Scotland or Ireland. He came over on, gave a sermon on Zoom. All right. So, see what connects to all this. Yes. Scientists, I'm in awe of scientists. They are as I said, the true mystics, as far as understanding functional, useful mysticism that spurs us toward growth in these areas that I mentioned. Looking at things from different perspectives, the creative, looking at things objectively, you know, without, I feel it and therefore it's true. No. And I can use that because I'm born in the South. Can you still hear it in me? Probably. But I also was a long time in Texas and a long time in Michigan, time in California. And who are we anyway? So that's where it ties in. Immigration. The animals don't have to stop at a gate or a fence and go, okay, we're looking for food and water. Hey, can we come in? Yeah. You know, with a little bit more IMC, a little bit more empathy and awareness, there's enough for everybody. Like I said, there's enough for everybody's need, but not enough for everybody's greed. So be flexible. Perhaps the biggest mark of a evolved mystic is that they're very flexible. Like scientists, very flexible. Prove them wrong, they change. Don't prove them wrong. Yeah, yeah. You don't prove your point, no change. What should they? Yeah. And and leadership. Wow. Well, I'll handle that in the next video. Anyway, as I like to say at the end of my videos, yeah, I like to use the word namaste. It's a beautiful word from India. It means all the wonder and all the good stuff from our brains and our brain. Remarkable, amazing thing. Uh, that wonder, that beauty, that joy of life, that flow of love, would like to honor the same in you. That word, it says it all. Namaste. And, well, you have a good day, y'all.